What's up, guys? Reggie here again, and welcome back. So today's subject, the crisis in the fragrance community slash world. That's what we're gonna be talking about today, and hopefully this doesn't turn out to be like a 10+ minute video, but I'll try to keep it as short as I can. But anyways, I've been doing a lot of researches like online and just seeing like so many like viewers like opinions and thoughts like regarding this type of situation that the fragrance world is in right now, and not just them but also like other like fellow channels, their opinions and their whole takes on this. And it's very interesting because you feel like you feel the like the energy and the love that people really do care about the community, and they want the fragrance world and the fragrance community to just be thriving. But there's so many things that are just honestly constantly like hurting it. And like I mentioned in my previous videos, if you haven't seen them, there's like so many um people leaving the community. It's crazy. Like more people leave than joining, which is really crazy. And like I said, it's really hurting it in a really bad way. And why? Because they are tired of seeing those trends, overhype, those glazing fragrance trends, and those where they just kind of come down to say like, hey, this fragrance sucks, don't get it because I said so. Because hey, I haven't told you guys, but like this is my strategy to use it as getting some sort of contract from a brand, right? So like they do that. They're not going to admit it, of course not. But what they'll do is like those bigger creators, they'll try to just, because they're very pushy. They're very pushy, and they just try to glaze the crap out of a fragrance where they'll somehow praying that they get some sort of recognition from the brand or affiliations with them. So, and once they don't get what they accomplish, they just move on. And now this fragrance isn't really all that good, and they just decide to make it a trend where they just hate it. And there goes like a lot of the viewers, not all of them, but of course, like their super loyal fan base. They just go there and they just throw hate on it, because that's how it is. And like I said, um, that's like a really really negative thing. Like I said, it's just the lack of trust, the them being super predictable now to the point that all of us can see through them, and we see like what they're trying to do, and that they're just using the platform, and they're using especially their audience as a stepping stone to getting some sort of contract or affiliation, like I said. And there's nothing wrong with getting a contract, or like some sort of sponsorship from the brands. It's like if you're gonna do it in a good way, that you're not like, at least that's just my way of thinking, where you don't take advantage of people. And it's even worse because you're taking advantage of the people who literally made you who you are, it's like really, it's a really nasty type of thing to do, honestly, using the people to that got you, where you are, man. But that's, like I said, that's just me, the way that I think. To a lot of you, we're all on the same boat, and to some of you, I'm just a hater, who doesn't even have 100 subs, which is fine. People are just gonna say so many things, and like I said, I'm very aware of all the things that people can say negatively and just also positively. But like I said, it doesn't scare me. I'm speaking my mind. I'm being true to myself. I'm being true with you guys, which is the most important thing. And as long as, like I said, a person always keeps that honesty and that trueness, like everything will be good. And like I said, I will never like try to use that like to, especially like you guys, to get some sort of like benefit, using them as a stepping stone. And like I said, like I don't want to sound like I'm some sort of like hero all of a sudden. But it's just like a very concerning thing that's just like really, um it's just really bad. And yeah, like the next thing that I really want to talk about, and this really makes me think, like, to what extent are people gonna like open up their eyes? Because man, like, what's up with all these like 13, 14, 15, 16 year olds, like uh influencers who know what they're talking about, who literally when you see someone say that Louis Vuitton, like, Imagination is the best fragrance of all time, is like, that's when, you know, like, come on, like, they probably just started like smelling fragrances they like 2 to 3 years ago, or maybe even less, honestly. And you know, like, I don't want to call myself like the OG, or like I have been smelling fragrances since I was born. Of course not. But I have been in this whole fragrance stuff for like over 10 years, and I will not like literally take any sort of you know, it's like, are you gonna take advice from a baby? Come on, like, we're all grown here. And are you really gonna take advice from a 12-year-old? Are you gonna take relationship or financial advice from them? Of course not. Who would? Because they, you know, they just started like exploring the world and stuff like that. But then, like I said, to some people that's gonna be offensive. Um, but I'm just being real. That's what pretty much a lot of us kind of just pretty much think, and we all pretty much kind of think the same way. And I have seen this like specifically like I actually hit the note because I've seen that like being said in so many like comments and stuff like that. And that's one thing that I've thought about, but I didn't really had like, I don't want to say the energy, but I didn't really have the thought of saying it, because I just thought like that was just like a me thing. But if I think like that, and if so many people think like that, it's a that's when you know it's honestly like serious. Like I said, hey, to each their own, but you wouldn't let a 12-year-old drive your car all of a sudden. Of course not. You know, of course you would let some professional, some sort of F1 driver or NASCAR or rally, some professional, right? But yeah, like, it's just a very crazy thing, man. Like, you know, just seeing them and they talk about like the notes and how this turns out to be, and it's just like kind of like, okay, that's, you know, that's kind of cute. That's kind of cute, and stuff like that. And I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to throw like any hate. But then when they say that, you know, like, for example, this fragrance is the best of all time, and I mean, it's the best of all time for the 100 fragrances that you smelled in throughout your life. That's when, because it's, you know, of course, like, if you only smell like a limited amounts of fragrances, you're gonna say that this one's the best one because you just have smelled five. So yeah, like, I don't, like I said, I don't want to come off a bit aggressive or anything, but it's just like super just like kind of funny, like how um I don't know, like how it works. And yeah, like I said, so many people are gonna call me salty, butthurt, mad, jealous, which is fine. Like I said, I'm very aware of the energy that I can get from, in a really positive way, and just the same thing as in a very negative way. Because like I said, there's no, like, even in my previous videos, like I said, there's no such thing as perfection. And if there's no such thing as perfection, you should also know that there's no such thing as a perfect fragrance. Every fragrance has its good things, pros and cons, right? So, yeah, like I said, I don't know, like, that's just pretty much like the whole, like, the things I have in the top of my head. Like, I just was thinking that, like, I just decided to honestly start recording. And yeah, like, let me know what you guys think. And thank you guys for watching for every single time. Like I said, if you found my video in a suggested, yeah, that's pretty much, I do fragrance like reviews and stuff like that. But of course, like, I've been doing and covering this topics like this because it's pretty much affecting all of us, and we all love fragrances, we all care about them, and we want to, of course, always see our passion thrive, right? So yeah, guys, it's been Reggie, and actually, before I leave, this is my scent of the day. Versace Dylan Blue. What more can I say? Want to call it generic, whatever, so good, long lasting, smells really good, and it's also very cheap nowadays. You can get this especially on discounters for like $50 or something. But yeah, it's been Reggie, guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.